Recording in progress.
Hi.
Hi everyone. So today I would like to talk about global recycling standard as a road to sustainable future. So, but to start with, let's know the definition of global recycling standard. So, Global Recycling Standard is an international voluntary certification standard that verifies the content of a recycled materials in a product and ensure responsible social, environmental, and chemical practices in its production. So as a company, if your product involved a content of recycled material, so it verifies the content of that recycled material, like maybe this material contain 20% of PET bottle or maybe 50% of PET bottle within it. And also to be satisfied with GRS, it means that within the production line of that material, it has followed the social, environmental, and chemical practices, better practices in its production. So the Global Recycling Standard was originally developed by Control Union Certifications in 2008, but then the ownership was passed to the Textile Exchange on 1st January 2011. So although this GRS is now owned by Textile Exchange, its range of product is not only limited to textiles, but can include any type of product containing recycled content materials. So now let's see what is a Textile Exchange. Okay. So, Textile Exchange. So, this is a non-profit organization that has developed these standards with the goal of giving fashion and textile industry a way to authenticate their sustainability claims from raw material to final product. So, as a person who owns maybe a fashion industry, like maybe Kojima-san, let's say, so you can authentify your material that this product comes from recycled material. So the organization has launched several individual standards apart from GRS. So there are many standards. There is organic content standard. There is recycle 100% claim standard, which in some sort it is kind of similar with the global recycle standard in some way. There is also responsible wool standard. There is responsible mohair standard, responsible alpaca standard, responsible down standard, and content claim standard. So there are various individual standards. Okay. So what is the purpose of global recycling standard? So when the control union established this standard of GRS, the first goal is to promote the use of recycled material in products and also to reduce or eliminate the harm caused by its production. So to emphasize the use of recycled material, to emphasize recycling, but also to make sure that environment is conserved when this recycling is being done. And number two is to establish more transparency in the recycling process. Because nowadays there's something called greenwashing. Somebody can say this product comes from a recycled material, but the truth is not. So somebody can be lying. So this GRS was established so that to make sure that there is more transparency and truthness in the recycling process. But number three goal was to inform client about content in product and services. So as you can see here, the client is viewing the content of the product. So and nowadays, as the world is moving, so people would prefer to use products that are more sustainable, that do not harm the environment. So somebody would prefer to use something that has come from recycled material. So providing such information would be nice for the customers. Okay, so now I would like to talk the scope of the GRS. When I say the scope of GRS, this means what the global recycling standard covers. So number one, it covers recycling content verification, and labeling. So the GRS first certify the actual percentage of recycled material in a product. For example, if your product has 20% contain recycling material, so it can be certified by GRS. But for you to use the GRS label, the product has to have more than 50% of recycled material. As you can see here, this is a t-shirt. So it was certified by the global recycling standard that this comes from a recycled material, and it means it contains more than 50% of recycling material. Okay, so also the scope of GRS covers traceability. So implementing a robust tracking system to ensure the integrity and identity of recycled material and maintained through every stage of production. So GRS covers the whole process of the production of that recycled material. So from where the recycled material comes from to the end production, so that you can be certified that this material comes from the recycling. So, okay, it covers traceability. And next, environmental principle. As I said, if for you to be certified with GRS, the production process of that material has to follow environmental principles. So mandating responsible practices in manufacturing facilities, including waste management, water management, energy and emission, soil and groundwater contamination. So your product cannot be certified as GRS if its way of production involves harmful emissions, involve maybe environmental pollution, water contamination. So yeah, it guides people in their production, companies in their production, to follow the environmental code of conduct. Okay. Also, social requirements. So, ensuring ethical and responsible labor practices in compliance with international recognized labor standards. So, for example, from this picture, you can see here, this is some kind of company, let's say. This company cannot be certified as a GRS because the working condition of these people is not good. People are not wearing masks, so that it doesn't follow the International Labor Organization standards or rules. So, for a company to be certified with GRS, that company means it has followed labor standards, no child or forced labor. So such a company like this cannot be certified. Okay. So also GRS covers chemical restrictions. Oh, so setting strict guidelines that limit or prohibit the use of potentially hazardous chemicals during production process to safeguard workers and the environment. So if your product in the chain of the production involve the use of toxic chemicals, so that product, even if it is being recycled, cannot contain GRS because it involves toxic chemical contents. Okay, so GRS certification requirements. So if you're a company and you want to be certified by textile exchange or certification bodies to have this GRS certificate, first, your product must contain at least 20% of recycled content. That's only for certification. 20% content of recycled material. But to use the GRS logo or label in your product, the product must contain 50% recycled content. So for example, if my product has 20%, I can be certified as I have GRS certification standard. But for me to use, to put the logo of GRS on that product, it must contain 50% of the recycled content. So number two, the requirement is the organization must implement full chain of custody tracing of the recycled material. So if me as a company, I just buy material, maybe flex from a another company, but I don't know the chain of that company until they got those flakes. I cannot be certified as GRS. So I need to know, I need to trace the full chain of that recycled content until it reach my end. So there must be a way of traceability in between. So number three, you have to comply with environmental, social, and chemical requirement throughout the supply chain. So you have to follow this standard. If not, you cannot be certified as a GRS. Number four, be audited by a third-party certification body and maintain records, transaction certificate, and surveillance audits. So for me to be able to be certified for GRS, I have to be audited. So I will explain more about this in the next slides. So I have to be audited by a third party to see if my working process really follow the conditions of the GRS or the textile exchange. And number five, adhere to claims and labeling rules for certified product. As I said, even if you are certified by GRS, you cannot use the GRS logo if the product contains less than 50% of recycled content. So you have to adhere to labeling rules. Okay. So now I would like to talk to GRS certification application. So if you are a company and wants to be certified by GRS, to have GRS certificate, so these are the processes. So number one, you have to choose an accredited certification body. So actually, Textile Exchange is the owner of this GRS standard, but there are many certification bodies, a third party that you have to go from there. These are certification bodies are actually certified by Textile Exchange to provide these GRS certificates in many countries. So, for example, in Japan, you can go to Control Union Japan, you can go to Intertech Certification and Assurance, or Intertech, you can go to SGS Japan, you can go to Bureau, I don't know how to pronounce this, Veritas Japan Co. Limited. So if you can apply from this certification body. And after that, you have to, from here, you have to submit documents, you have to submit transaction receipts, your flow of work, and many things. And after that, initial on-site audit from the certification bodies will be conducted. So these people will come on-site to your production plant to see the production process. So in here, there might be document review, site inspection. Sometimes your laborers will be interviewed together with yourself as a manager, and also verification of chain of cost custody system. So if I say that I'm just buying flakes from company B, so also that company B has to be inspected to see if really it follows the GRS standard. After that, if there is any corrective actions, so you receive some correction actions that you have to do this and this and this, and if not, or if maybe all the correction actions have been done, then you are certified. You get your certificate. So this certificate is valid only for 1 year, and you have to renew it annually. And in renewing annually, that you have to follow the same processes. So they do again audit and then issuing the certificate. Okay, so benefit of GRS certification. So as a company, if you have this certificate, what kind of benefit will you get? Fast market access and buyer requirements. Many global retailers and especially Japan-based brand now ask for GRS or at least RCS to substantiate recycled claims. So nowadays, people are much aware of these GRS standards. So sometimes people would ask for it. Do you have any of kind of this certificate? So it will increase kind of marketing your product. And number two, credible recycled claim that reduce greenwashing risk. A professional third-party certification body audits each stage in the supply chain. So you'll be verified. So this has much important to avoid greenwashing. So if I say this shirt contains 50% of maybe recycled material and it is being verified, though, so it's kind of like True. And you kind of like protect your brand. And number three, alignment with the Sustainable Development Goals, especially SDG number 12, which is responsible consumption and production. And four, competitive advantage against non-certified suppliers. So if you are certified, you get more advantage in the international market and for your product than those who have not been certified, because nowadays the GRS is becoming popular. And number five, you get permission to label your product. As you can see here, for a better tomorrow, Global Recycle Standard, the logo shows that this product is being certified by the Textile Exchange. Okay, so what are the costs involved in this process? So for you to be certified by GRS, so first you have to apply application fee to the certification body. So you have to pay some money. And number two, audit on-site assessment fee. So sometimes these third parties from certification bodies may want to visit your plant, may want to go around, maybe to the company that you buy material. So expect some cost here, and also travel, accommodation, or logistic expenses of those people who come to audit. And number four, preparation and internal compliance costs. So I want to be verified as I have GRS. So I might need to do a preparation for my plant, maybe training my workers, or maybe making sure I trace my product. So this cost might be involved. And number five, maintenance, annual surveillance. So as I said, this is annual. You renew it annually. So this might be a source of cost. And also label, marketing, licensing. To get that a certificate, you have to pay. So yeah. And yeah, I was kind of dealing with this now, connecting GRS with blockchain. As I said, one among the purpose of the GRS is traceability of the product, to make sure that the chain of custody of the product really follows the GRS standard. So from the chain of custody, material flow tracking. So for example, I as a company A, I'm buying material from company B, who is also buying material from company C. So if there is a good way of like protecting the information here, so I as a company B, I get the information of customer of maybe of product bought from company C. So there is a flow of information. I know if I bought these maybe flakes, maybe I know these flakes come from maybe water bottles. I know these flakes come from coffee bottles. I know these flakes come from this material. So there is kind of information stored, and nobody can alter this information. And from the processes, I know that maybe these flakes were passed through this kind of process, maybe how can I say, maybe the flex were 20% petobotoro, so it's being recorded until it reach my end. So data ledger and immutable records. So from here, uh, if the certification bodies come to audit, all this material are available. So that's how the GRS is being connected by blockchain. So the blockchain will help this tracking this material. So once the third party comes for the verification, it could be more easier because there are smart contracts, real-time tracking, and audit readiness, anti-fraud proof. So that's all. I think I have reached it on that part for now. Yes. Thank you very much.